Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in a lush valley, there lived a young man named Lamb. He was kind and hardworking, but always felt inferior to others. No matter what he did, he believed he wasn't good enough, not special enough. To the people around him, Lamb was just an ordinary person with nothing remarkable. One day, while wandering by a stream, Lamb happened to meet an old sage, a man deeply respected by the villagers. Seeing the sadness on the young man's face, the sage asked, "Young man, why do you look so troubled?" Lamb sighed and replied, "Master, I always feel like I have no value. People look down on me, and I don't even know if I'm worth anything at all." The sage pondered for a moment, then took out a sparkling gemstone from his bag and placed it in Lamb's hand. "If you want to know your true worth, take this gem to the market and ask people how much they are willing to pay for it. But remember, no matter what they offer, do not sell it." Following the sage's advice, Lamb carefully held the gem and set off. Upon entering the market, he stopped at a fruit vendor's stall. The middle-aged man greeted him with a warm smile. Lamb held out the gem and asked, "Sir, can you tell me how much this gem is worth?" The vendor glanced at it for a moment, then chuckled. "It looks pretty, like a polished stone. I can give you a basket of apples for it." Feeling slightly disappointed, Lamb thanked the vendor and moved on. Next, he stopped at a pottery shop. The shopkeeper, a skilled craftsman known for making exquisite ceramic pieces, examined the gem and nodded approvingly. This stone is quite beautiful. If you want, I can trade it for my finest tea set." Lamb hesitated, then shook his head. The sage's words echoed in his mind. As he ventured deeper into the market, Lamb arrived at a famous gold shop. The shop owner, a wealthy merchant who specialized in precious metals and stones, picked up the gem and examined it closely. Suddenly, his expression changed. His eyes widened in shock. "Where did you get this stone? This is no ordinary rock." Lamb remained silent, waiting for his response. "I'll pay you 100 gold coins for it. This is an incredibly valuable piece." Lamb was astonished. He never expected the gem to be worth that much. But remembering the sage's instructions, he declined the offer. "If you're not satisfied, I'll raise my offer to 500 gold coins." The merchant's determination made Lamb even more confused. But no matter how large the sum, he couldn't sell it. He thanked the goldsmith and left, his mind in turmoil. Lamb's final stop was the most luxurious diamond store in the city. When he presented the gem, the shop owner, a seasoned expert with a keen eye for precious stones, was utterly stunned. He hurriedly spread a red silk cloth on the table, gently placed the gem on it and bowed respectfully. His voice trembled. Where did you find this gem? This is a priceless treasure. Even if I sold my entire fortune, I couldn't afford to buy it." Lamb was speechless. In just one day, the perceived value of the gem had changed so drastically from a basket of apples to something beyond price. Lamb returned to the sage and recounted his journey. After listening, the wise man smiled gently and said, "You see, my child, each person valued the gem based on their own knowledge and perception. The fruit vendor thought it was just a pretty rock, so he offered a basket of apples. The potter saw it as a decorative piece, so he traded it for a tea set. The goldsmith recognized its value and was willing to pay hundreds of gold coins, but only the diamond merchant, who truly understood its worth, declared it priceless." The sage looked into Lamb's eyes and continued, "Your life is the same. Some people will see you as worthless, some will underestimate you, but there will always be those who recognize your true worth. Your value is not determined by how others perceive you, but by how you see yourself. If you believe you are only worth a basket of apples, then that's all you'll ever be offered. But if you recognize yourself as a precious gem, the world will eventually see you that way too." Lamb was overwhelmed. He had never thought about it this way before. For so long, he had let others' judgments define his worth instead of recognizing it himself. From that day forward, Lamb changed. He no longer allowed meaningless opinions to shake his confidence. He focused on improving himself, learning, and embracing his true potential. And just as the sage had said, as Lamb grew to understand his own worth, the world around him began to see him differently too.